You're live as I'm throwing my hat on. Hello, TCI family, Jonathan's Refuge, and all of our faithful followers and friends around the world. It is a pleasure tonight. Bishop Brown coming to you from Washington State, the city of Marysville. We'll, as those know, we have a local church in Marysville. For those that would love to come and fellowship, we'd love to see you. We do services there on Thursday night in Marysville. All right, well, let's get into the meeting. You see, I have a special guest with me tonight, sitting next to me in the studio, and TJ is his name. Welcome, TJ.
Thank you for having me.
TJ is one of my men at Jonathan's Refuge. Jonathan's Refuge, for those that aren't familiar, is a ministry named after me, Jonathan, because as a young boy, I needed a refuge and I didn't have one. And then as a teenager, I needed a refuge and I didn't have one. And then when I became a quote unquote man, there was a time when I needed a refuge. And amazing, guess what? I didn't have one. And so I wanted my whole life to build, and I have spent my whole life creating what we now have, and this beautiful organization and this beautiful man, this beautiful spirit. And I don't mean beautiful, by the way, because if you look, I mean, I'm not sure if there's even a mother that could love that, but you know, I'm kidding. But TJ is a blessing to our organization. So I'm kind of just going to interview him. I want to have you guys hear some things, and there's no script. There's just two men sitting, talking, and seeing what comes of it. I think you'll be blessed. I know that when I speak with him, he is also not just in our organization. He's a leader in our nonprofits. He volunteers to spearhead and run and build something that we're going to see on a large scale eventually, but it's a dog program. It's something that I fell in love with when I saw what they were doing in prison with the dog program. And I was like, yes, we need that. And so we have a program where we have a therapy dog. And our head therapy dog is Belle, Princess Belle Brown. And I don't know if Belle's in the studio. Belle, are you in the studio?
I think she's
I don't think so. So she's outside. But if you ever see a dog running around in some of the shots, that's our therapy dog. And this is one of the trainers. He's the lead. We have a big company that we pay a lot of money to train that dog. And it is GCS's primary therapy animal. And it's amazing. She's got we're getting her a companion puppy in a few months, about 4 months. We're getting another one so she can have somebody to play with. So we're looking forward to that and expanding your division. But let's start talking. So TJ, forgive, me asking mundane questions that you probably go like, you know these answers, but we're talking to people that don't know you. So I met TJ, like a lot of the men I meet. They either went to prison and that's how I met them, or they are coming out of prison and they need a place to live. In TJ's case, like me, he did time in prison, in jail, and made a lot of mistakes in his life. He could give you 1,000 reasons why he did all of his mistakes. He can tell you why he committed crimes. He can tell you why he did all. He can blame drugs. He can blame this. He can blame all kinds of things. But one of the things I value about this young man is he never blames. He just owns himself. But it's not the man I first met. So I want to take you a little bit on this story. So TJ, when I met him, it was ironically, he was in the backyard of the first Jonathan's Refuge, and they were playing sword fighting with one of I call my men affectionately a knucklehead. So if I'm knucklehead number one. And if you ever are lucky enough to have me call you a knucklehead, then that means I love you dearly. And one of my knuckleheads was in the backyard, and this knucklehead, he was living at another men's home down the street, and people. And then he came to our church, CC, and many others in this organization. He's become best friend to our therapy dog for the company.
But she didn't own up to the title of wanting to be a mother. So instead of her disowning me like most orphans would be, I pretty much disowned her, cut full contact with her.
How many years of abuse did you go through?
From when I was 7 until I was 10.
I've heard some of the stories, and I'm not trying to dig out a lot of the gruesomeness, but I've heard some I mean, being locked up in rooms where they just throw a bucket in there for you, some pretty bad things, and a lot of violence. And it breaks my heart when I hear when a little kid had to live through that. And then that little kid becomes a monster. And the cycle begins again and again. And when you got out of that situation, it seems like you even went worse and got into, I mean, what happened next?
Well, I wanted to live with my grandfather because he was the only person who would show kindness to somebody who's been through so much. He would even try and teach me a couple of things here and there, like how to put things together if they're like broken. He even tried to get me to drive a tractor to back up, and I even ran that thing into a ditch. And I did not hear the end of it. But fast forward a couple years later, when he got, we're talking cancer, big C, and he got too sick to take care of me. So I was given a choice whether to go live with my aunt, who actually has 2 sons and knows how to take care of a kid, or go with an uncle who had no idea how to take care of children, yet he was also a convicted felon as well. And I chose my uncle because he was right there with Grandpa, and I wanted to be with Grandpa in his final moments.
How was that a good decision or a bad decision?
At the time, I felt it was a good decision because I could just ride my bike all the way to Grandpa's house whenever I felt like it. What I didn't know was I was told never to see my granddad when he's in that state, and nobody told me anything. So I kind of got the short end of the stick, but at least I was there for some parts.
What happened next? Where did your journey lead you?
I went through a couple of bad choices, bad decision, but mostly it was driven from anger and rage. I was all angry.
Were you doing drugs then?
Yeah, I was doing a couple of drugs here and there. Mostly it was psychedelic stuff. I thought if I could block out the pain, like with something that would make a fantasy world for me, I would feel better. But it just made me worse because when my granddad died, I lost myself. Ended up joining a gang of some sort, and some of the stuff was stuff I didn't even like. I mean,
you've told me a lot of stories about things you've gone through, things you've done, things that break my heart when I hear them. Things that I know just hearing him talk about his grandpa and all that, it breaks your heart when you hear it. But you got into a lot of street violence and things of that nature. There was a time where you were fighting or being beaten.
Yeah, I enjoyed getting into fights back then because that pain I felt from getting hit in the face, even getting kicked in the groin, that pain I would always feel so alive, and then ended up going full berserker on the person who did it, and watching them get so hurt, not just physically but emotionally.
Why do you think you were doing that?
I just wanted to feel like I had power. I wanted to feel like nobody could stop me.
Like you mattered?
Yep.
You know, a lot of times the people that I work with, they just want to be recognized. We just want to be acknowledged. We want someone to see us. Unfortunately, people didn't see them, and they were abusing them and beating them and torturing them. Torture. I mean torture. The things they did, torture. I'm not a man that any of his past family and people want to ever meet, because I'll be honest with you, I would gladly torture them for knowing what they did. But let's flash forward a little faster. Let's go up. We've now committed crimes. We now have a record. We're now felon. You're living in a men's home with 17 men in a house that should have maybe 5 or 6 Maybe 7. I mean, 7 would be like max in my opinion. But I'll even go with 10. So let's say it's a house that should have 10 men, but it had 17 men in it. You guys couldn't even get showers. Well, you could, but they were cold.
Yeah, it was hard to get a shower that was actually warm at the time because you have so many different men and so many time schedules. Some of them work graveyard and want to get a shower in, but yeah, once they get in, it's like about 5 minutes, maybe 7 at best, if you're lucky.
So you're living in a men's home. You meet our organization. How the heck did you become so lively and talkative and traveling around now and helping people? Because here's what you guys don't know is this young man volunteers for everything. This young man, we're trying to help fundraise. You look on our Facebook. We're putting together a Facebook thing for him. He doesn't even know about it. We're going to do a GoFundMe for a scooter, an electric scooter. How old are you now, TJ? 30?
I'm almost 30. I will be 30 this year.
Yeah, he turns 30 this year. He does not have a driver's license. He's never driven. I'm starting to teach him. I got his first driver's lesson last week. Pray for me. But TJ is a little on the scale of autism. He's a little autistic. Like a lot of people in life, we judge people. I'm ADHD. People, they say that. They label you with those things. And I say, I'm just Jonathan. Well, aren't you ADHD? No, I'm just Jonathan. That's all I am. You guys got all kinds of labels, and I don't need that. Well, this young man has so many labels and things. And in our organization, we teach people that you can do anything you want to do. You can do anything. Even if the whole world said you can never drive again, you can drive. We got a guy right now that's trying to drive, and he's got no hands. His nubs. You all know Mr. Ty. He's getting his hands, the little nubs he's got. They're not hands, the nubs. He's getting them snipped off, losing more of his arms. And then they're going to attach new ones, and he's going to start driving. I'm so excited. And that's what we foster at this group. But I want you to hear it, not from the bishop of it. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your side of the story. So what did it? What changed you?
To be honest, what changed me was having people actually believe in me in one aspect. The other thing was I was always told I was a monster, a psycho, sick man, sick and depraved, wouldn't even bounce back. He should just kill himself. And
didn't you actually were at the end at one point wanting to die?
I was.
What stopped you?
What stopped me was a little something in my head. It wasn't my brain. I mean, trust me, I thought it was my brain. But something was pulling me backwards. And honestly, it was those words that I've been hearing all the time. You matter. And it was one of the videos that I've heard from you, actually. You matter. If some people say you don't matter, you actually do. And it always, and for some reason, that was the thing that brought me back.
TJ is a special person to me and my wife and my family because he is my spiritual son. He's one of my spiritual sons. And I'd do anything for this man. And I can't wait for him to get his driver's license so he can drive me around. He doesn't know. He's like, yeah, I want a driver's license. Wait till he gets it. He's like, I don't want a driver's license. I want to go back to the scooter.
I know there was a catch. There was a catch.
But we do a lot of volunteer stuff. And when I say a lot, we do a lot, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
We were just not too long ago on Whidbey Island. I think you've gone a couple times on that adventure with us. We'll go out to Whidbey Island. There's some elderly couple that we cherish and love. And so a couple of our board members and us, and we get out there and we go help people. And first person, you don't have to wonder if he's going to be there. I just say, we got something going on, guys. Anybody wants to volunteer to help, we'd love to have you. And first person up is TJ. Now, I like how the man thinks because here's how he thinks. You say, TJ, so instead of saying, so TJ, we're going to go do this, this, and this, all you have to say is, hey, TJ, I have pizza and we're going to do a bunch of stuff. I'm in. Very motivated by food. Very motivated by food. He is a person who I know a lot of people think is not articulate. And by all means, sir, You're not articulate.
Nope.
You're rough around the edges.
Okay.
But you're a very sweet man. You're a kind person. And you do matter.
Well, thank you. You matter too.
I'm really sorry your mom and the people in your life hurt you. And I'm proud of you because what we do is help people like us, like you, humans who make mistakes. Sometimes they're a one-time mistake. Sometimes they're years over years of mistakes. But we all have them. Some are bigger than the others. And at the end of the day, we're trying to be a little better today than we were yesterday. I don't set massive goals because that's very hard to accomplish. So how do you accomplish that? Well, there's an old saying, how do you eat an elephant? Do you know?
Nope.
One bite at a time. It's that simple. You don't have to take and eat the whole elephant right now. Just take one bite at a time. But eventually you look back and go, holy smokes, we just cleaned up the elephant. It takes time sometimes to change. You're like a ship and you take a course correction and you're like, we haven't done anything. You did. You corrected your course, but it only moved a degree over. But that degree is the difference of going from New York to London, England, or New York to France. Just one degree off. This young man strives. He comes by daily to learn, to listen, to ask for advice. Anyone that needs help, he's willing to help. Anytime this young man finds that he sees something that he's being told by a mentor, by a board member, a church member, one of the pastors, the bishops, doesn't matter who they are, as long as he values them because he respects them because they have a relationship with them, he really sits and meditates on what you say to him. And he wants to change, and he tries every day, and he does. And so often I get up and I get to talk to you guys and tell you all the secrets of success in life. And that's important. It's all important. But what's it important if we can't see this? Because this is what it's all about. This is what I live for. This knucklehead right here. Someday I can't wait to be up there officiating his wedding. I can't wait to see what lady's going to, of course, love him. But, I mean, beside that, I can't wait to see his life unfold as it happens and be part of that. And so I want you to take away from this interview, again, really light. I'm not getting into an Oprah interview here. I actually am going to be doing a very in-depth interview of his whole story, going into the violence and going into things that happened. So there will come a video that you guys can see of TJ's entire story. But I wanted to just give a quick broad stroke so you could see this human being who is flawed, who makes mistakes, but he keeps trying to be better each time, and he gets better each time. He's not making excuses. He doesn't say, well, I'm ADHD. I got this disease. I got that disease. I can't do this. I can't touch that. I can't eat this. He doesn't say any of that rubbish because he knows what would I say.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
There you go. Because at the end of the day, we just got to suck it up, Buttercup. We got to make changes. I don't like that. Yeah, well, it's real simple. If you don't like that, you end up dying. You just end up dying. Have you ever heard of the saying a green pea? That guy's a green pea. He's green behind the greenhorn. It's a saying. If you go up to Alaska to go fish, if you're the new fisherman, they call you a greenhorn. In sales, we call them green peas. So you got greenhorns and green peas. And why do they call them that? Because what's young and alive? It's a plant. And what color is it usually? Green. What happens when that plant is brown?
Dead.
It's dead and dying. The second you stop growing, you wither and die. This young man is striving to learn every day. He is learning more about God, what it means to love God, what it means that God loves you. He is learning how to be a citizen in the United States of America and serve his city, his county, his state, helping others. He's out there doing the right things and not the wrong things. He's being held accountable, and he's holding people accountable. And now he's becoming a leader, and he's in training on being a leader in this organization. We're very proud of him. And as I sat and I listened to him today when he was working and doing things, I really pay attention to the words he uses. And it's funny, he's changing every day. I see a young man that's becoming a better man every day, telling me his mistakes from the previous weeks and months. Sometimes beats himself up a little too much, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He's trying to strive to be better. And that's the message for today as I close. I know I went a little long, but I want you to hear this. You need to strive every day to be better than you are. But I like playing my video games. You're going to be dead then. You're the plant withering away, and you're going to die. Don't be the dead, brown, rotten thing. Be live, be green, be thriving, be learning, be wanting, be seeking, be expanding. You don't have to test every single restaurant of food in the world, and you don't have to test every single concept that someone throws at you, but be open to new things. Be open to new ideas. Go to a different restaurant, try a different meal, a different vegetable that you might not ever eat. Try a different fruit. TJ always brings refreshments to the church service. And so tonight there will be stuff there. He always asks to make sure, what is it you like so I can get some? He loves different flavors. Well, life's the same way. When it comes to life, we need to seek out, and they call it your palate. We like to have a very, fine palate so that we can taste good things in this world. We need to seek more of that. And stop thinking we know it all. Because once you say, oh, yeah, I did all that. I know guys that did. Well, hey, guys, I'm going to Tony Robbins conference. Like, oh, yeah, I did that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did that 15 years ago. Sucks to be you. You're dead and dying and withering on the vein. Yeah, I don't ever want to be that guy that's, oh, yeah, I've been to Tony Robbins conference. I don't need to learn anymore. Really? I just listened to Tony on a relationship thing last night. That blew my mind. Something I never thought I'd hear my buddy Tony Robbins say. He said it, and I was like, rewind the press. Hold on. Thank God my wife wasn't listening. He did not just say that. I just got ruined. My whole thing. My entire tactic is over. I can't even use it anymore. Why? Because I am not a brown, withering, rotten plant. I'm green, and I'm always learning, and I'm always trying. And like this young man, every day we will strive to be better. We pray, and it is our earnest prayer that you thrive in 2025. That is the message for 2025 from the Church of Inclusion and your Archbishop here. Is my prophetic voice for this year is that I prophesy to all of our members and all of our people that follow us and love us and are faithful to the organization and help changing people's lives, that you thrive in 2025, not survive. That's other years. This is a thriving year. 2025 is going to see exponential growth everywhere. I'm not talking just businesses. I'm not talking just relationships. I'm talking every aspect of your life. Health, wealth, love, everything. You need to thrive. And it's all set for you to thrive. It's a new year. The last year's over, isn't it, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
All the crud we did wrong,
gone.
In the past.
Bye-bye.
All the things we did right, foundation to help us launch into the future,
is here.
It's ours. So open your door, look out in this beautiful world of 2025 and say, woo, doggy, it's looking good. We love you guys from the Church of Inclusion. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming out. Don't break the hand. Oh. Strong grip this young man has.
We love you guys so much. God bless. Take care. We'll see you next week.